Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Ruth. Thanks for being on Monday morning, January the 24th, 2022. Wow, wow, wow. Blessings for being here. I feel like I feel maybe like this is a bad analogy, Sleeping Beauty. I've just awakened and I'm not sure whose face I'm looking into in the mirror. Coming out of the miry pit of despond, maybe the bog of despond, if that's even a thing. I don't know. Sounds like something from Pilgrim's Progress. Anyway, hey, blessings for being on the show today. If you're jumping on already, I'm going to say hello in just a few minutes and just scan down through some terms. As always, I'm going to names, terms. See, I've still got to think about what I'm thinking about, which I was thinking of this Riders in the Sky, the great bluegrass, I guess you're bluegrass, but Western band. I saw them in concert a couple times. And I remember one of the things that Woody Paul would turn to Ranger Doug and say, he'd say, "Take it, Woody." And Woody'd go, "What?" And he goes, "Well, I thought it was your turn." He goes, "Ranger, now's not the time to start making a plan." And so, you know what? Let's just take this as it goes today and see what happens. I haven't planned anything out. I haven't spent a whole lot of time at this desk. I've actually sketched 8:57, 20 minutes about every day that I've been down with the COVID. But I've just done some mediocre little sketches here and there, mostly my Bible sketch, sitting around the table with small pieces of paper. What is a small piece of paper? Something like this right here. Just a little, what is this, 4x6 maybe, roughly? Nice paper. That's 4.5 by 6. So close. Just kind of run it through my little paper chopper. It was a piece of fluid, 140-pound. I love painting on this. I'm sure there's some stacked over here that I'll find in a minute. And let me show you what the desk looks like, and then I'll say hello. I better put my glasses on so I can even see. I feel like I'm squinting today. And I've got these on, but that's just my headband. Those are not glasses. So if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome to Roodoodles Online. This is what I do on usually Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays. I think I got a curveball I'm going to throw at your head right now. Here it comes. I don't think I'm going to paint in the morning. I have to run off on a commitment very early. But I think I'm going to paint Wednesday evening, and I'm going to write that down here as a note to remind you later. Wednesday, and it may be 8:57 p.m. Eastern, just a Wednesday night. So instead of grabbing yourself a cup of coffee, maybe grab yourself something else, a little warm beverage or a cool beverage or a hot chocolate, and maybe a Reuben. Does that sound good? Maybe I am feeling better because I suddenly felt like I wanted a Reuben. So let's grab a Reuben sandwich and join me. And I may paint Wednesday evening right now, just to shake it up a little bit this week. I just want to, and it'll put me in a different frame of mind. So there we go. Let me say hello to some of you. Thank you for joining on the show. So many of you pile on early in the morning, and I appreciate you, especially the people from west of the Great Arch. Who have to get up before the dawn has even cracked open. Oh, knocked it over. That was the crack of dawn. Good morning, Irma Burton. Thanks for being on the show. Denise Albright, thank you. Deborah Spangler, Susie DeLay, Jean Anthalzer, Karen Bender, Barbara Meyer, Jennifer Yentz, thank you for being here. Top of the morning to you. Chris Whitaker. Chris, the answer is, did I mail anything yet? No, I went down and started to put a mailing label together, and I'm like the guy who goes out in his garage. You know, when you're in the garage, people have what's called a fridge of affluence. My son calls it that, and I think it's just been the greatest thing. He said, it's a first world problem when your fridge of affluence or the one in the garage doesn't work. But it's the fridge where you put in old holdover leftovers when the family's coming over. You say, go out in the garage and get the fridge. No, it's the fridge of affluence. It's the other fridge out there. And you go out there and you get out there and you open the door and you realize you're doing the same thing that you were doing when you were standing in your kitchen with the door open, just looking in. And in this case, Carol comes around the corner and goes, "What are you looking for?" And I go, "I'm not real sure." And she says, "Well, could you close the door?" And I said, "Well, if I close the door, I'm going to be even less sure because at least I get the options of seeing what it might have been." But so here's what I do now. When I head out to the garage for the fridge of affluence to just get some extra cheese that I like to have grilled sometimes. I'm a grilled cheese person. with bread and mayo, yes, and some maybe a little roast beef and some Jarlsberg and smoked cheddar, smoked Gouda. Anyway, the point is, I go out there and I get out there and I open the door and I can't remember what it was that I went out there for. So I've solved that. And so just to let you know that I'm helpful and that I withhold nothing, here's how I solve that. When I think I want a grilled cheese and I have to go outside to get it in the fridge of affluence, all the way out there, I go like this. Cheese, 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 cheese. I'm out here to get the cheese. I close it back in and I come inside. Solve that. That's how you do it, you know. Dr. Jim Poole, my friend with Fast Brain, the doctor of ADD, ADHD, said that I just need a longer short-term memory. And so that does it for me. So just cheese, cheese, cheese. So this morning I sit down and I come into this desk. There's not all these options. It's just paper. And I just say, I'm going to paint. And so I am coming out of that. Maybe from that story, you may not think I'm coming out of the miry pit of despond, but I am, I believe. So blessings to you. Good morning. Today we're going to paint something. And guess what I'm going to paint? You're not going to believe it. Roosters. What? Yes, I realized as I started to clean off my desk this morning, and I reached over to get this tray, and I thought, oh, there's my tray. It's covered. So let me go to the desk shot, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Here it is right here. Here's the picture. I pulled this tray over, and as I started digging through the tray, ooh, there's a clean piece of paper. I realized it was from Saturday, still filled up with cardinals. There was one. There's some blank paper. I'll put all this over here and I might can fill it up with, there's one that's not even painted. Here's a couple little birds I must have done last week. I don't even remember when I did them. There's a little cardinal. I was in the Cardinals. It was the day it started snowing, and I said, the trees outside, the pines in my yard look like they need a cardinal sitting in there, and there was some. They were volleying at the seed bar. Here's the one I painted on the Fabriano plate that says, 3-minute sketch, sure it's good paper, love the pencil, do they make seed? And so there it is. And here's another one that's just a big old fat bird, doesn't even have a caption. Here's one that says, nice pencil, nice paper, where's the fresh seed? So those are some cardinal. And so anyway, what was funny is that I did look at Roost Crew briefly while I was just deciding that if I was going to take a nap or not in my state of COVID. I saw some beautiful starts of cardinals that some of you have started doing. And I thought, you know what? That does my heart good to know that if you come up with a little bit of a story, or if you come up with a concept of an idea to paint, you guys jump right in. And not only do you do it, here's the bottom line. You do it so much more crafted and creative and better than I do. And because, on the show, I just sort of paint 5 or 6 little things and try to just make them happen fast in my storytelling style. And sometimes that's just the starting point. That's just the foot in the door to get you moving forward. And I love that. And thank you. That's a flattering thing. It's an honoring thing. Thanks for watching Roodoodles.com. And so here's, while the show was coming on this morning, I started sketching something with the pencil. And that's what I reached out to get this pan for. That's what I started looking for it when I couldn't remember what I was looking for. Cheese, 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 cheese. It was pan. I needed a paint pan. Here it is. This is a butcher's tray. I can turn it over because all this paint inside is dry. This is an enameled ware, metal butcher's tray, and I just take some of my American Journey paint and I squeeze them down in there like so, and then it becomes sort of a melting pot, schmelting pot, mush pot for me to, and I'm going to paint out of this mostly this week, and here's why. I love painting out of the clarity of this. Remember, I try to keep these as pristine as possible. So don't just, don't do what the third graders do in Miss Wilson's class, dip it in, and then before you go to another one, dip it over there and dip it. It'll all be brown before you know it. Don't do that. Some of you paint with different palettes. This is the closest thing I've ever come to a palette, really. I mostly mix on the painting, and I'm still going to do that. But I like this for just laying my bamboo brushes in sometimes and rolling them on their sides. And I love the openness of this. And if I want to see how colors mix, I'll do it this way. I keep this way for probably 6, 8 months, and then I just know in my knower that I know it's time to clean it out and start over. And that's when some of this gets a little thick, like the good roux of a stew. And so I am ready to clean this out. And I think by the end of the week, I'm going to start with a fresh one and just get rid of all this and start again and start with about 6 little drops of my favorites in there and then start letting them come together. So I'm going to paint out of this and use some of this up because it's still pristine and good. So I knew I'd buried it over here somewhere. And there we are. So good to have you on the show. Debbie Bennett, thanks for being here. Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer Henderson, Deborah Tauber, Jennifer Thistle, Robert Small, thanks, buddy, for being on. Robert, your acrylic work is so improved from what I seen years ago. And I know you are an artist and a trained artist. And brother, you are getting it's just that repetition and you are getting it. And it's terrific. So many of you, I could just name off 2 handfuls right now of you people who are amazing. You're just amazing. And don't get in a rush with your art, but start dribbling some of it out there and start putting in places. And don't be afraid to post it. And don't be afraid to ask a few dollars for it. And don't be afraid to go out to dinner on the money and buy new supplies, and start to think like an artist. There's nothing wrong with that. It's how you were skilled and gifted. So offer it to people. I love that when that happens. Catherine Brousseau, Jacqueline Goodrich, thank you for being on the show. The West Coast is up and ready, she says. Thistle, no paint while you work. Oh, that's it. Oh, whistle, not thistle. June Jones, good morning to you all. Said hello to Chris, Elaine Bennett. I think I said Sharon Clark. Sharon Clark lives, good morning from the Panhandle of Idaho. I always liked it when you lived in a panhandle. It's better than being in the bottom of the pan, but I like it. Let's see. Terry Tardy, thanks for being on today from way out in Coos Bay, Oregon. Terry Tardy Turquoise has always been, I can't even think of, not think of Terry without looking at my Andrew's turquoise in one of these pans or this tray. I'm going to paint something this morning. Skeeter Powell, blessings to you. Renee Cummins, Julie Walden, Barbara Meyer, good grief, people. Sally Ann Smith, thank you for being on the show. Ruth Ann Godey, Linda Schleichning, Burke, I think you're on the show somewhere. Judy Yell, thanks for being on the show. Or is it Yale, like the school? I think you sent me a note. Blessings. Rhonda Rawson, thank you. Watching from Spokane, Washington. Holy smokes. That's way out there. All right. Glad to have you guys all on the show. Cindy Adams, thank you. I'm feeling a little better. And I am so glad that I'm becoming out of, like I said, the miry pit of despond. Hey, I was listening to some music this morning while the show was coming on. And while I was up here bringing my tea up, I put on a little music and I went down to make some tea. Came up, turned the light on. Linda Linhart, thanks for being on the show. Miss Carla, man, so many of you on here. Listen, I don't see all these comments until usually later, but I have been saying the last few days, if you do want me to answer something, just put a couple Q's on there, Q, and I will try to. I don't hear all the little tones that come up, so I'm sorry for that. Just can't. And so. If one pops up with a Q and it's a question, I'll try to answer it if it's a question that I can answer. So thanks. I found some music today. I wanted to just play a little piece of it. And it reminded me of what I started drawing here. I started drawing this fiddle. Some of you may call it a violin, but the only difference between a fiddle and a violin is how you play it. But I did like this piece of music. Let me see if I can find it here. Is this it right here? It's kind of nice, huh? Okay, the frog. Oh, you want to hear Mr. Toad? Somebody said that the other day. Mr. Toad. Does that come up? The tailpiece comes out here. All right. I wanted to draw a little violin this morning, so I started penciling this in to get it in here. Just as you sit down and doodle, you ever just sit down and start to doodle something and you think, hey, what if I did that? It'd have to go like, here, we'll just put it like this, just straight down. It's easier to sketch if I lay it on its side like this, but I think this is how it needs to go in my painting. Where's my pen? Let's see here. What am I going to do here? Look at that. See, what came to me right there is that if I drop those little feathers down right there, piece of music seems just a little bit, would you say maybe just a little bit classical for this particular painting? Maybe it is. Maybe I'll have to change it when I go to paint it here. Let's see if it... I love these fast sketches though, because what I think happens when you sketch fast like this is that, let me turn this down a little bit. I think what happens to me when I sketch quickly like this is that I get unintentional looseness. I don't think I've ever used that term before. An unintentional looseness, an accident. Maybe Bob Ross called it the happy little accident. Maybe it's something that just happens when you just sketch with a pen and you just kind of go, where does that really work if I put this there? And you go, does it really matter if it works or not? Look at that. I think it's going to work just well. I think he's moving just exactly the way he should move. And so now I'm just going to go get some, and I want to paint him out of this pan this morning. So I'm going to make this painting come out of here, and let's see what happens. So all this is, I'm just going to wet this just a little bit here. Just grab a little misting bottle. Just wake that up just a tad, not much. I mean, this is a very light mist spray, so I can still turn it upside down. Nothing's going to even run or move in there. But I think I've said good morning to it a little bit. Maybe not. I might have to do it again. We'll see what happens. All right, I don't think that's going to be in your way. Let's see, is that out of the way? Would this help if I put it here? Maybe so. Let's move this out of the way since I'm not going to paint with it today. Let's move these over here. And that is some weird music, but I kind of like it. Okay, let's see. Let's use a, here. This is a number 10 American Journey brush. There it is right there. Jason is on the show this morning. Must be before school. All right, here we go. All right, I'm about to change this music. Let's just change it to something else here. Watch this. No, let's go here. What's this? Oh. Oh, I can start with that. Ooh, I wish I'd have found that in the beginning. I like it. All right, let's see. I think I want some of my traditional, a little, what is this right here? A little, somebody sent me a note and said, hey, do you ever use undersea green Yes, I do. There's some right there. See that? That's undersea green. And why would you put undersea green up on land on the tail end of a rooster? Just because I have it in this pan. But I'm also going to come in with some of this. Look at that. Spill that paint right there. Okay, I hate it when I do that. Let's just spill some more then to make it look like we're spilling it on purpose. There we go. Come in here. Those are one of those unintentional loose moves I wasn't going to make, but I made it, so don't worry about it. All right. I like painting and music. I think it just helps my brush roll, and it helps me pick up a little steam here and keep my brain fired up. I need probably some gamboge, but I'll use this orange in here. There's a little bit of yellow right there. Pull that in. Let's just make his beak a little bit with that. That looks pretty good. Drop some of this yellow down in here. There's where those hair came in over that violin. You see that? Or the feathers kind of came in over that right there. I think you can see what's happening. Let me try to go in on the rooster just a little bit here. And then get a focal point. See if I can focus right there. That's not too bad. I think that helps a little bit. There I am in the mud pie of my own palette. Let's come down here with a little more of this orange yellow just to kind of let it drift in here like so. That'll also be a good color just throwing it around there. Interesting piece of music, wasn't it? All right, we need something to wrap this up in. Let's see if we're going to have... So let's try this one right here. What's it? Caleb, what's it? I'm gonna get some mud pie from these colors. There's no doubt about that. Let me get a little smaller brush here. See if I can get in here and grab into this violin. That's not the color I wanted for that. I got to find a little bit of, you know, he may be a country rooster, but he's playing a, I don't know, maybe it's a Stradivarius. Here we go. Let's just go in here with some of this beautiful little orange red. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a nice color right there. Let's put that in there. And come in here, come in there, come in there, and then leave a little bit right up here just for this headpiece. Maybe a little more brown here. And I'm going to need some, let's see what I've got in the world of, oh, in this tray. What's in here that's dark? And ooh, there's some purple. That's nice. I can put that down here in the shadow. Just finding all kinds of stuff in here. It's time to clean this out. I can tell you that right now. It's past time probably. I don't see, there's a little bit of Payne's Gray. I'll take some of this and just wipe it down on the neck here like so. And then I'm going to touch it with a paper towel and just let some of it go away. Do you see that? I just kind of took it out. Don't be afraid to erase watercolor sometimes if there's such an animal. Just touch it in there like so and then come back in and just barely touch it. And you're going to get a different look that you didn't expect, I will bet. Come back in here and do the keys maybe with the pen. And then I think we ought to probably just put some strings on this violin like so, and maybe some squirrely cues coming out. A little bit of this red with a big, or red. Cheese, 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 cheese. I am crazy. It's a good thing I don't drink because I wouldn't know what the heck I'm doing here. But I'm in good shape. Okay. All right. There's a little bit right there. All right. So there he is. He's just a real rough kind of mountain roo. And look at that. Donna, yes, said I did it. Donna, and Linda picked up on it. I had undersea green and Payne's gray all in one painting. Come on. Somebody says the show's having issues. It could be me. Who wants to write me a pass and get out of class? I'll do it, Jason. What time's class start? Or has it already started up there? Or just bring me on in the class and I'll teach Architecture 101 called In the Key of A. And that's what the violin is tuned in, I believe. So anyway, all right, so here it is. I don't know what I'm going to paint with it, but there it is. I'll do it. Pat Brooks will write you one. Not 35. Okay. Due to lack of a T-square. If anybody can tell me how to find the square of a T, then we'll have class today. Okay, there you go. I used to write my own messages for school when I would stay home from school. Some of you know this because I've told you everything that I know. I'd go in the next day and my teacher would say, "Do you have a note from your mom?" And I say, "Yeah, I do." She would open it up, and it would say, "Please excuse Michael. He was homesick yesterday." And she would say, "Oh my gosh, are you feeling better?" And I said, "I feel fine." She said, "What do you mean you feel fine?" She said, "Well, you feel better than yesterday?" I said, "No, I felt as good yesterday." She said, "Well, I thought you were homesick." I was. I said, "I was just homesick. I just wanted to stay home. So Mom let me go fishing." It makes me feel good. And when I'm homesick, fishing really helps me from being homesick. And they would go, "What in the world?" I go, "Well, I want to lie." But I said, "Mom, write me a note." She said, "What do you want me to say?" And I said, "Just say I was homesick." So see, it works. It has a case of intentional flu. Has the square part of the T square, right? Yeah. No, it's the long part. That's the square part. Okay. Pie in the country, Jason, pie are square. Cornbread are round. So I know cobblers are rectangle. So don't be messing up architectural today. Pie are square. Cornbread are round. And cobblers are rectangle, unless you do them in cast iron. Okay. All right. Hey, so there's my painting for the day. Started off with a little sketch of a fiddle. Why did I sketch the fiddle first? Okay, and that is the question. Why did I sketch the fiddle first? Who can answer that question? John Robert Small says 314. That's pie. That's not until March. Okay. Pie sounds good now. Apple, cherry pie. Apple cobbler, cherry pie. I'm going to have to see that you come down here and we talk biscuits and pies and cobblers. And okay, so the colors didn't run into the fiddle, Lori Belushi says. That's part of it. So that's part of it. Let's fiddle so you can scale the rooster. That's exactly part of it. So all of you are right. Here's the point. So you didn't want to fiddle around, but get right down to business. Yes, that's close to it. So here's the thing. This is going to scale everything out. Even though this fiddle is large, it doesn't matter because it's a rooster playing it. So in real life, the fiddle compared to a rooster would be huge. But this is probably a full-size copy of an Antonio Stradivarius. And he needed to have it in some position. And so if I'd wanted to kind of come in, see, I did this in a matter of minutes. So yes, scale, and yes, let's go ahead and put it right there where it needs to be in the first place and then mess around with it a little bit later. And so everything comes into scale. It's the same reason that I usually start my roosters with their heads. Because if I start the rooster with his body first and I pay all this attention to the tail and all this, and then I put this little head in there that looks like a peanut, You're going, that's not going to work. And so scale the things around. The other thing is, if you notice when I sketched this fiddle in here, okay, when I put the fiddle in here in this sketch, like so, I don't want to paint on that. I want to paint on something else a little smaller here to show you this demonstration. When I went to put the fiddle in here like this, and it came out and then down and out and out like this, when I did that, that's the back side of it. Did you notice that I did this right here on that one side? Because I saw in my mind immediately that this rooster's head should be over here and his wattle should be behind it. His comb should be up here, but then the feathers on his neck he should have it wedged up in there. And so that's the look that I was after. And that made it work for me. Okay, so that's kind of a fun thing to do if you're drawing that concept again. All right, so that's kind of how I see that working in my mind. And so sometimes, does it help to use a pencil so I could erase? Yeah, but at the same time, over and over and over and over and over. 5 overs. Repetition of you getting in the flow of where you're going. I got to take this scarf off because it's getting warm in here. Okay, and it just could be me. My CAD kids are drawing elephants using AutoSCAD today. Elephants. Now that is too funny. I think I got one down here on the deck somewhere. If I do, I'll pull him up and show you. I think I have an elephant laying here somewhere. I don't know. I painted an elephant the other day because they are just so different to paint than roosters. Shucks. I don't know where he is, but I had an elephant in there. Maybe in a minute I'll find him and show him to you, or post a picture of him later. All right, so if I'm painting roosters with instruments, lots of times I'll just sketch the instrument in first to just give me scale. And that makes a huge difference on how things work out. Different than when you paint a redbird first and then you want to just scale him to the limb. That's different. But I do start with his beak because that tells me how big his head needs to be, how big his eye needs to be. So if you're trying to start with the body of the thing and worrying about all that, no. Start with the business end first. That may be helpful in your process of how you're doing things, okay? All right, here's one I didn't even paint. Look at that. And he looks really unhappy. Man, oh man. It's the elephant fisting the bunny, Debbie Bennett says. No. All right, dadgummit, I'm going to see if he's here in the stack. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. There's a nice piece of paper. Somebody's gonna have to come in and clean up the floor in the studio. You have no idea how many paintings. Onion. Oh, I got it. That's timing. There it is right there. So he's the elephant, and he's in scale to the rooster, who says, come back, it was a joke. Jello footprints, really, forget it. Oh, yeah? Okay, so, you know, the whole deal is elephants don't forget, so there it is. Okay. Okay, sounds like a story to me. Now, this elephant is Roo walking down the road, and so you never should insult an elephant. So there's my little Roo elephant. He's painted on, just regular little 115-pound sketching paper. And so I just sketched him out one day and just hit him a little bit. I think I've done a couple of these, or maybe a couple out there. One of my first elephants was walking up the hill with a bunch of roosters, and he had a comb just tied onto his head with baling twine. And the farmer is saying, this is the third time I've had to redo the barn roof this month. Somebody had to see something. Come on. And so... and it's one of my favorites. It's somewhere, I don't know where it is, but I think it's downstairs in my box that I kept. It's just one of those paintings that you want to keep, because you go like, this is funny. The farmer is, it's just a little shot at the farmer there. And the elephant has on this comb tied on. All right, so there's my rooster. Oh, you thought it was the elephant with a fiddle? No. All right, and it is signed, by the way. Okay. All right, so here we go. So Jason's going to slide into his morning class, and they're going to be scaling elephants. How do you get down off of an elephant? Speaking of scaling mountains and scaling elephants, how do you get down off of an elephant? You don't. You get down off of a duck. Okay, so that winds that up right there. All right, let's get out of here and paint something else today. I really needed to paint some... I can't paint to that. I really wanted to paint something about coffee this morning, because I just woke up thinking, I think I'm going to leave my studio this morning and go down and have myself a cup of coffee. And so I'll probably go down and fill up the teapot, grind some fresh beans, and have myself a cup of French press. I haven't had coffee probably now in over a month, just because I've been drinking tea and honey. I've had so much honey and tea in the last few days that I'm afraid if I walk outside past my neighbor's beehives, I'll wake them up from their winter snooze. That's how much they'll think, hey, I smell honey. I like French press because they are the best way I know to really make some fresh, beautiful coffee. Talked to my coffee friend yesterday, and don't know what the caption is on this, but I penciled it in this morning while I was sitting here thinking I might make a cup of coffee. It was about 3 or 4 minutes before the show came on, and I thought, this sounds like a Christmas song. What's going on? I see what happened. My music slid into oblivion there for a minute. Haven't said anything about Roo cups in a while, but I have some. They look like this right here. Got a rooster on the side of them. See it right there? Yeah, they're a diner mug. Diner mugs. This diner mug weighs 1.5 pounds. It's made by China. It has a beautiful wide lip. It holds 12 ounces. It's great. Oh my gosh, good for keeping your hands warm. You know what I say, good for keeping your hands warm. You can milk one goat in it. Holds your liquid warm, and also if somebody takes your purse for 25 feet, come on. You hadn't been hit until you've been hit with a diner mug slung at a high rate of speed. You know, I grew up in a family of throwers. My wife told me that I either stopped throwing things or she was going to not be there one day when I came home. And I didn't realize I was such a thrower. I threw the shot put in high school, the discus, threw rocks when I was a kid. You know, we were just throwers. We'd go to the lake and we just throw rocks. We'd skip rocks until your arm hurt forever. And then but I had a guy throw a wrench one time. My brother threw a wrench one time that we never found, and then and I threw a wrench one time that went down a rat hole at 40 feet off of a deck of an old cabin, and it cost us about 4 hours of searching for it. And so I finally have broken the habit. But all right. Javelin. Woo! Wow. The javelin is tough to throw. Cheese. You get down off of a goose. That's why you don't get down off an elephant. Thank you, Linda, for answering that. You don't get you don't get down off an elephant. You get down off a goose. So, good morning up in New Jersey in the architectural class. If you're working on the CAD machines today, CAD stands for Creatively Art Drawn Elephant. That's what it stands for. Hey, let me just grab a small little brush here and a little loose one. This is a little bamboo brush. It is a Yasutoma brush, which I love their brushes. Y'all know that very much. I talk about it a lot. This is a 2/0. It's one of the finest ones you will see anywhere. I'm still painting out of this pan just because it's here, it's messy, and it literally is going to be cleaned out probably by the end of the week. I may even keep it Wednesday night. I'm talking about painting. I don't think I'm going to paint tomorrow morning because I've got to be off on a mission the first couple hours of the morning. And so I have a special delivery to make tomorrow morning early, so I'm going to be going to make that. Look at that right there. Just took that little fine brush, and here I'm going to go in here. I haven't done this in a while either. Where's my Lamy? That's a good question. Where is that thing? Where's my Lamy fountain pen? Well, I'll be. Huh. Oh, there it is. See? Okay. Love your coffee paintings, Ruth. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys hanging in with me. Sometimes just sit down and I want to encourage you this over and over and over, like you've been doing with the Cardinals. Why do I have all these Cardinals stacked here? Because if I start one, I should start 5 or 6. Because you think, oh, okay, I painted a Cardinal. I'll see you tomorrow. No. Just try and do them quicker, and try to just don't worry about wasting paper. You know, same with rooster parts. If you're going to do a study on legs, just do 50 or 100 legs and beaks and combs. And if you're going to do shrimp, do a bunch. If you're going to do whatever it is, if you're going to do flowers, if you want to paint the best, I would never paint a chrysanthemum because I'm just not going to do it. But if I were going to paint daisies or irises, this is not good. Okay. Wait a minute. Here it is. Okay, so it's time to do a little maintenance on the pen, and there's how I know. Right there is the nib that just fell off. So I'm going to slide it back in there and see if it works. It might be time to reorder myself a new Lamy pen. And I may have just fixed it. Ha! Look at that. So it's time to do a little maintenance on it. So I'll get it all cleaned up, put it back together neatly. We'll go from there. I'm just going to put a little bit of that Lamy ink right in there. This is beautiful black India ink that's inside this pen. And that'll give me just a little bit of that darkness that I want in the tail of this bird. And I want him to, whoa, look at that, huh? That's just the ink. You think I used enough? I think probably so. Okay, so, and let him come down in here. Just brush some of it over in here and get the Payne's Gray going there. Put just a touch of blue in there like so. That's just such a nice French blue. I like it. Look at that. Don't you love how that brush just streaks out there like that? I do. It doesn't take much to get me excited about watercolor. There's something about when the color pops. I don't know if it takes me back to the third grade. I can't tell you exactly what it does, but I will just tell you this. It's the most remarkable thing when I see color pop on the page like this. I genuinely get kind of excited. I go, this is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. How could you not love the concept of art when you're in charge of the brush and the part to do it right? I'm going to see if there's some of this in here. This looks like it was that gray right here one time, French gray right in there. I'm just going to take a little French gray, roll my brush in it, and come in here and just paint this cup with just a little French gray right there. That's okay if it bleeds down a little bit. I love taking some Terry Tardy turquoise and just painting this Bodum, the French Bodum, in turquoise. It's just such a different contrast, and also the reason is that we have this color in our kitchen, and so it reminds me of home. It reminds me of one that really pops against our counters downstairs, and so now I need a little bit of coffee, so I'm going to just wet this right in here. Just water it in there like so. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab some brown first. Start with lighter colors. Just put my coffee strain in there. I'm going to grab a little bit of darker brown or a little redder brown. Look at that. Come in there like that. I need something that's maybe, this undersea green. Look at that. I'm just going to throw that in there and just let that mix around for a little bit. But I need a little bit of dark blue to maybe really give me some of that coffee look. Because this coffee is Guatemalan. And it's got some brown and some Urshaf, and you got to know your coffee. So see, I need a little touch of blue here just to show the glass tint right in here like this. And then just put a little bottom on that glass beaker. This was just my cross hatching of the pen. Remember, I do quick sketches to just storytell, and I need a little bit of a different green to come in here and just make the grass. Love the wispiness of this little brush too, just letting it dance. I'm holding it 3/4 of the way back, and I'm just pushing it like this. Need a little gamboge and some orange. Come in and create these little roosters, these little peeps up here in the top. Need a little bit of a darker one on this one behind right here. See there? And maybe a little bit of lighter, something that might look like it's a little bit of lemony yellow right there. Perfect. See that? This is what I love about this pan. I don't know what I'm going to use until I look into the pan. I hold the refrigerator door open and go, cheese. I know that I want some paint. I found it right there. That's the paint I was looking for. I'm going to touch a little bit of this sienna. This thing actually is probably good for another 6 months, but I think I just want a fresh start. We'll see. I'll get through Wednesday evening maybe, and then I'll go from there. And so what I have now is I have this little painting. We'll just go grab a little bit of that brown and splatter it right in there on the chest of that roux. And I also may take a pen right here and just sort of come in like this. This is a Terry Tardy line. I may come back later, as in like right now, and just put some touches of little feathers right in here like this. And then just barely take that little brush with a clean water in it and sweep it over this very carefully. Look, I want a little bit of this. I don't want any coffee into the cup yet because he's come in with a clean cup to just get himself a cup of coffee. If I had some black, I'd be dangerous. Here's some right here. Yeah, let's put some of that right in there. A little bit of lamp black, and just let this be. And I suddenly have this. See, coffee's not all one color either. Everybody thinks coffee is just like this brown. No, it's not. It's got the lights hitting it. It's reflecting. This is tea, but you get the idea. I wish it were hot tea. Here we go. Keep a little thermos down under the desk with another tea bag mixed up, ready to go. Need that for my voice right now as I'm coming back from COVID. Hey, those of you who have it, man, I don't have to tell you I'm praying for you. Woo-hoo, it's done. Nobody needs it, but I think we all will eventually get it just because I think we're going to go through. It's out there. It's a bug. I always believed it was out there. I just felt like it wasn't my time to get it, and now it has been. And you're close to. I feel like death eating the moon pie all this week. It's just been a tough week. All right, so. 3 peeps equals 3 minutes. There we go. That's how you know how much time to press your coffee. You boil your water, get it to about 195, 198 degrees. Let it peak out and whistle, and then just set it off for just a second. Put your fresh grounds into the bottom of the beaker. That's the Imhoff comb. That's if those of you who are scientists, the beaker. That's the part of the bottom that's glass. And then pour your water in on top and take a long handled spoon, stir it carefully. If you stir it too quickly, you hit the side of the glass, you're going to be mopping your kitchen floor. And so swirl it around, leave the lid off for about a minute and a half, and then put the top on and let it steep under there. You don't want to get all that condensation up in there. You want to let it just breathe a little bit, okay? Things need air. Take the meat off the grill, let it sit for a while. Open a bottle of wine, let it sit for a while. Air is good for it. And then once it's set in there for about a minute and a half, give it about another 3 minutes or so just to steep, and then press the plunger down. It pushes all the grounds to the bottom, and then drink it right then. And you say, well, yeah, but it's not much and it doesn't stay hot. Put it in a thermos then, or because you take it off the heat. The problem that kills coffee is you put it back on the heating element. You know all that, right? Okay, death eating the moon pie. All right. Let's see. How's Yaya doing with it? Yaya is doing well. Yaya has felt great the whole time. She just lost her taste. She hadn't felt wonderful. She had a little bit of the achiness about a week or 10 days ago, but she's sprung back to life, has kept doing her yoga. And so I'm the one that it hit physically, I think, and probably I haven't lost my taste. I felt like I lost some of it this week. It could be that I just made dinner one night that tastes like mush, but she lost her taste. And yesterday, a couple days ago, she was chopping some broccoli, and she said, "I think I just smelled broccoli a little bit." So that's hope for it to return. But she's doing well. Thank you for asking. Good question, and I appreciate you all caring about us. Some people do have just mild cases where you'll have a little sore throat, you'll just be achy. And I went through that for about 6 or 7 days. Finally went to the doctor to just say, okay, I'm here for my January checkup, my chest, the sinuses drained down. He said, yep, you got what your report says you always have once a year. But in this case, you're riding along with a little bit of the Omicron COVID. You got it. And so that's how I knew, 8 days ago that I had it. Anyway, thank you all for asking, and appreciate you. Question, I saw that. Any more questions here? Undersea Green, Linda says, Terry Tardy has a hand clap going on. Pat Light he says the Lamy pins are a bit snobby. Yeah, they are. And it's also time to do a little maintenance. If you don't have maintenance on your pins, just pick a good day and do maintenance on your pins. I just take mine apart sometime, drop them in a clear glass, a mason jar will do, or even a nice glass of warm water, and just let them soak in there for a little while and take that out. People use cleaning agent. I don't. I just use warm water and let it get all of that out of there. I don't even scrub them. I just take a paper towel and clean them off gently and then put them all back together. And I'll start with new cartridges, and then I'll just prime them. And that little piece slipped right back in there. So this one hadn't been uncleft in a while. It probably just stuck, and I yanked it off. Yep, see there, it just did it again. So it means it's time for me to clean out the cap because it's got probably some gum and dripped ink in there. All right, I got about 3 or 4 more minutes to go here, and so I just wanted to paint a couple roosters because sometimes I had some folks drop by and said, "Hey, do you have any paintings on the desk that we might could pick up for some gifts?" And I went, "No." Well, I got some crazy ones over here, but nothing that you'd want to just write home about. And so anyway, it's been fun to paint with you this morning. I'm going to do one more little thing here, just an abstract rooster with this little brush and the rest of this tray. Just grabbing what I want. I'm going to put on a piece of music and just sort of let it dance here on this small little thing. No sketch, just a rooster, and we'll see where he pops up. It'll be fun, huh? All right, here we go. Sometimes it's what I do just to put myself into a little bit of a creative space. I think this is kind of how Picasso must have painted his rooster when he did his stand-up root that had all the colors bouncing around in it. It's just like dancing like this with listen to the music and letting my brush just go in that direction and not trying to overdo anything. And the reason that I'll practice this is for this very reason. Real soon, I'm going to be heading off to a school, and if COVID stays out of the way, not mine, but the schools, and I'll take some supplies and I'll go in and I'll throw a few of these little pieces of paper out, and I'll say, somewhere on this piece of paper, there is a rooster. Don't you love that? That's kind of fun, huh? And so it allows them to be what I would call very abstract. And kids can do this without thinking because it's just how they're wired. They're not trying to impress anybody else. They're doing their best to find out if there's something in there that they need to see what it was and where did it go. And that's kind of how their brain works. And I love it very much. Unpretentious, not trying to impress, not afraid to make a mistake. And so what happens is you wind up painting these cool little abstract pieces that that just have all kinds of personality. See that? And you should be able to do that in like 2 or 3 minutes and be done with it. And so it's an original piece of art, and they get titled. And I'm not worried about filling anything in or making them look too detailed or too. They just happen. Okay. So that's kind of how this goes down. Okay. Hey, I am out of here. Don't fight the nap, Pat. And I have not. This has been great this week. I have not fought the nap. I'll feel it coming on. And I necessarily don't nap, but I'll go just lay flat on my back and I'll either catch up on a viewing or of something, or I will read a story or two, and if I doze off, great. If I don't, that's okay too. I just need to put myself down a little bit, so I've done that. Not put myself down like you would on a horse. All right, so hey, blessings to you all. I will not paint tomorrow, so let's call it. Let's just call it. Write this down. Wednesday evening. Let's try 8:57 p.m. I'll keep you posted online here, and I'll post a couple paintings today. Maybe someone needs another little fiddling roo. There he is right there. Or maybe another little banjo roo. I'll throw both of these out there. Just a little painting, and then maybe even a coffee roo. 3 peeps equal 3 minutes. This one's signed. I'll throw it out there. I can't get rid of the elephant today, but I might throw out a red bird. How about this one right here? Let's see. Where's that red bird? Oh, here's one right here. How about this one? Nice pencil, nice paper. Where's the fresh seed? I'll throw that little red bird out, and I'll put a price on a couple of these just to get them off the desk. Somewhere between 857 and 48.57, somewhere in there. I'll just put a fun little price out there, and you guys can have some fun with it. Look what's happening here to these colors that I just mixed together. Is that not cool? These are roosters. Whatever it is you're doing, if you're doing flowers, if you're doing dogs, if you're doing cats, if you're doing still life, sometimes just play with it with a little bit of music and just let your brush dance and be creative that way. I love what you're posting on Roo Crew. I love your comments to this show. I thank you for your care and concern about me, and I appreciate each one of you tuning in to be a part of this as we move through this new year. And we're going to keep making some things creative. And I'll kind of see what comes on next. Might be something fun. You never know, do you? Blessings to you all. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Bring them in. Thanks, Pat. Pat's got a herd of turtles there. I'm not even going to count all that is. All right, I'm out of here. Watch out. There's a light up there that I just hit. You thought I was going to go away that fast? Take a sip right now. Almost forgot. Cheese. Take a sip right now. Contact somebody right now. Send them a note and say, hey, thought about you this morning. Are you being creative? Are you okay? Do I need to bring you some soup? What's the good news? See ya.